Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to Tea with G. I'm sitting in a cozy little coffee shop, and hopefully it won't be too noisy. I just like to do this, to wander around, and they've got this obviously very comfy chair. That, like I said last time I was here, that it looks like I could be like introducing a PBS documentary or something. And I don't need the headphones because there's no talking except me, but it does help me screen out the noise. So do tell me if the sound is okay. I think I have it set up so it has isolated my voice pretty well, and for some reason, I don't know, but my voice is quite low today. We'll see if it warms up as I go along. So I'm always one to not prepare anything in advance, because I think spontaneity is key to being able to respond to whatever the needs are in the moment. You know, the thing about having a sense of a personal identity is that it gets us fixed, and it's contracting and limiting. If I'm identified with form, or more specifically identified with conditioning, then I get stuck in that idea of myself. Now, it's not true. It's never been true. You've never actually been the body or the conditioning in the body. That is the big illusion. That's the big mistake we've all made. And sorry about the background noise. I've filtered it out as best as I possibly can. Any more filtering and my voice will start to disappear with it. Probably in maybe a half an hour or so, maybe an hour, they'll just kind of start filtering out. I'm the only one that just sits here and hangs out. When I got here this morning, it was just so nice and quiet. But Sunday morning, people go to coffee shops instead of church. Anyway, identity. You're not the body. You're not your conditioning. But we're so used to thinking of ourselves in those terms. We are so used to assuming that I am this form, this person, these beliefs, this ethnicity, this gender, that it doesn't even occur to us to question whether or not it's actually true. And once you have decided this is who I am, and this decision is made long before you can even talk, let alone consciously decide it, once that happens, it's not really a decision, I call them energetic assumptions, that once that happens, you live inside that bubble, and anything outside of that becomes inaccessible to you, even though you have infinite resources at your disposal. You're unable to access and utilize them because you're trapped inside this bubble of a personal identity. So when a teacher says something like, You're not who you think you are. It is deeply profound and worth pondering and contemplating so deeply that you find that it is only your beliefs, your assumptions, the conventions, your unscrutinized, and unexplored assumptions about yourself that is containing you. See, if I'm this little container here, that's all I have, right? And I'm walking around with this, right? Everywhere I go as that. It's as if I've put on a particular costume, playing this character, and everywhere I go, I'm that character. So I'm trying to be that character in a place where that character is totally useless, right? Which is why we find ourselves in conflict. We find ourselves feeling inadequate. We find ourselves feeling afraid, wanting to hide, because we are literally stuck in an identity. Then we say, God, I feel so stuck. Why can't I grow? Right? But we don't question the bubble in which we are stuck. We're trying to grow. All the while, we're in this place where growth is actually not even possible. We want to grow the very thing that is keeping us locked in the closet. We just don't recognize it. And this doesn't have to be a great spiritual, enlightenment experience to grasp. It's just so. It can be quite obviously true. It's just a little bit of exploration. In Sanskrit, this is such a useful bit of info to chew on. In Sanskrit, the word that is translated, Sanskrit and Pali, which is the language the Buddha spoke, when he would use the word that is translated into English as suffering, it is the Pali word and the Sanskrit word dukkha. Dukkha is an amazing word because it's very broad. A lot of the words in Sanskrit, they don't have the same kind of literal definition, technical definition that most English words have. It's much more figurative, and it refers to the hub of a wheel that is gotten out of true, which means the wheel turns with great difficulty. It takes an enormous amount of energy for it to turn, or it can't turn at all. It's stuck. In other words, dukkha is stuckness. You are stuck, but we don't realize where we're stuck. We'll often feel the stuck. I have people all the time going, God, I'm so stuck, right? Not recognizing what is actually creating the stuckness. It's who you believe yourself to be. You can't take the belief of who you are, right? This belief, and then improve it. You can't take the sense of identity that is unconsciously always wanting to be, a victim or a woe is me or unhappy, and turn that into one that's happy and confident and quite capable of dealing with the ups and downs in life. You can't do it. You have to trade in the old one and become the one for whom confidence and equanimity and fluidity and happiness is natural. In other words, the fulfillment of our desires is not a shift in conditions. It's a shift in you. you become one for whom the fulfillment of the various desires is the natural state. And ultimately, that too is too limited a view. We're not just really even trying to transform into somebody who has a better life. We're trying to shed everything we're not to find out who we actually are. Not any persona, however good, however wonderful, however sweet, confident, compassionate, sattvic character, this this wonderful character. It's still a limit. It's still a confinement. It's not who you are. It's not what's actually here. Hence the spiritual quest to answer the question, who or what am I? And the operative word there is am, or is to be. Not what can I possibly be, what can I become, what can I accomplish, but what is the truth of me? That's the who am I question. Who's me? And it takes a very different approach to living, to inquiring, to exploring, to be able to crack the code that reveals that, because it's a revelation. If what you are is what you are, it's what is. It's not an acquisition. It's not the gaining of anything. You're just sometimes I just can't find the words. I keep looking for the words that are going to pop your bubble. You can't acquire what you already are, right? I mean, that's self-evident. So we're not looking for some way of improving. We're looking for what's here. What was here before the conditioning? What was here before I took on an identity? I mean, you took on an identity, right? Which means something was there before you put the costume on. Right? And then they would say, what did you look like before your parents were born? And it's a koan because that's really silly. But it's not silly. It's actually quite poignant. What did you look like, or what was there before this body even existed? Now, those who are convinced that we just are the body, and that consciousness is a function of the brain, they would say, well, nothing was there. Okay, great. If you want to just accept that as, and then go on with it, then death is the end. And in between is what? Well, just a bunch of experiences, some good, some bad, and then nothing. Okay? But is it possible that it wasn't nothing before, just we don't remember? That anybody willing to look at that realizes that has equal weight. There's just an assumption that we're nothing but this body. That's all there is to it. Consciousness is just some kind of complex functioning in the brain. I couldn't resist. A couple days ago, there was just the title of the TED Talk about that the brain hallucinates the world, the universe, and all experience, right? Which is a popular thing now. It's a very cool kind of thing to think. I just couldn't resist. I had to leave the comment. Okay, well, what's hallucinating the brain? Looking for some anchor point, something that is. We're all looking for something that actually is, isn't going to just change in the next couple of days. What would be hallucinating that? We inevitably have to come back to consciousness. There's a consciousness here, right? The origin of which is mysterious. Those who are convinced it's a function of the brain, but that whole conviction is beginning to wobble. What if we can't find the origin of consciousness because it doesn't have one? Because it's always been. Now, not the content of consciousness. Don't mistake consciousness for what consciousness is filled with, what it's aware of, what the stuff that's going on. Can we isolate consciousness from its content? Now, anything that we put our attention on is going to be content, isn't it? What about the consciousness that is conscious of all of this stuff? I've just kind of backed us all into that question. Who am I? The consciousness that is there. And if it wasn't there, there'd be no experience whatsoever. And yet it does not seem to be changing and fluctuating with the content. The consciousness of whatever it is the same, unchanging. Now this is not theory. I'm not giving you some belief, some nice belief to latch onto, but to look for yourself and you'll see that through your own direct perception that consciousness doesn't change, and that you are aware of the consciousness and that it's not changing. So what does that make you? And we've dove even more into the question, wait, who am I? Who then am I? And this is when it gets really interesting. As Ella's pointing out, it's fun with not knowing who you are, like really not knowing. Yeah, it can't be it's the consciousness of the content, not the content. So the habit of identifying with the content just kind of has to fade away. And there's just this, I don't know. Who am I? Now that's a good I don't know, because normally when we ask who are you, you'll just kind of spit out all the stuff. I'm this old, I've been here, I did this, all things that were really just formations of experience. But who are you? The question, or what are you, can go beyond the traditional answer that always pops up, which is just some set of thoughts or some description, some sense of identity, some form. But it's not that. But I can't be that. So what's happening is you're kind of untethering the question, who am I, from any kind of objective answer. So it becomes a completely your subjective experience. What is your subjective experience of yourself? Not an image of yourself, but what do you actually experience as you? And it is fun. It's quite fun to explore it. And because it isn't just about, I'm going to get enlightened, then all my problems are going to go away, because that actually just happened. They're different, that's all. But to catch the virus, you might say, catch the disease of self-inquiry, to just be quite so deeply curious about it that it just engages you with some passion. What's it like to simply put your attention on the you that is experiencing, not the one seeing, not what's seen, not even on our capacity to see, to experience, but on what is actually seeing. We'll leave it at that, because it's this is not quite the forum for me to dive all the way into that. But those are actually the words of Ramana Maharshi, who said that exactly that. Put attention not on what is seen, not even on the seeing itself, but what is seeing? What is it that is seeing? He went so far as to say that it takes years of persistence. That's what makes a master. But if you were to do that persistently, devotedly, 15 minutes a day, that's all he said. In 4 or 5 months, you will see the effects, an expanded sense of awareness. Even we refer to it as clairvoyance, and all sorts of different things would begin to come to the surface by simply putting your attention, attempting to pull attention away from just the objects that are seen, to try to see the seer. What is it that is seeing? Hello, everybody. Let me just go back there. More may come to say, but it is if Ramana was the beginning of the start of my particular lineage, if Ramana says to do that, it's worth trying. It's worth trying it out. It may take some guidance. Right? That's why I have a sangha that meets every week to help with the guidance to get it deepened, because you can't really learn it just by a bunch of videos on YouTube. You may be able to just do it on your own if you're devoted enough to it. But more than likely, you're going to need some guidance, because I know I couldn't have. I couldn't have really grasped that to the point of being able to practice it without until I had met my own teacher. So, Sario, good to see you. Laird, old buddy, geez, so good to see you. There's Robbie in Romania. Oh, Jacqueline, so good to see you. Yes. Sound is perfect. A lot of background noise yet, though. Your voice sounds very full with a lot of timbre. Sounds perfect. Oh, thank you. A musician. He's going to notice such things. Yeah. I have no idea. I think part of it might be because of the headphones. It makes a kind of a different internal environment, and so My voice is tending to say lower. I mean, lower in pitch, not necessarily lower in volume, but lower in pitch. That, I don't know. It's been that way all morning. It's kind of like some kind of congestion or something. Roberto, oh, in Madrid, back at home. Good. Yeah. Christina says sound is good, but it's a bit loud in the background. I'm sure. It goes up and down. Yeah. Isabel, oh, love you. Christina's just gonna focus on my voice. You're getting very sleepy. Yeah, non-duality is just a big act. So Las Vegas stage hypnotist act. Hello, Ava. Oh, she's made something, gotten to something live on your phone. What up? Okay, whack. Ella, so much fun with not knowing who you are. Like, really, and not knowing. And when you don't know who you are, does it really make a difference? I mean, do you have to know who you are to move rocks or even go into a meeting with folks? If you really look, you will notice that so much time in the day we're completely unaware of who we are. The ego is actually in abeyance. We're just doing stuff, and then other thoughts about me and I did this, and they come later. But the actual actions, the things you go, you don't need to have an identity for that. Does your stomach need to have an identity to digest food? I mean, it doesn't know it's called a stomach. It doesn't care. It just does its thing. You don't actually need it. Yeah, you go somewhere. Hi, I'm. You have a little name tag on. You can't just put, hi, I am. My name is I am. Okay, so go someplace. I'm GP, right? Great, fine. Just it's handy, right? If I need you to, pass me a cloth, I won't get a hammer because we've agreed. But that's all it is. It doesn't really matter what the name of anything is. All of it is this. It's just this universal functioning that's taking place, and it is universal. It's not individual. There actually aren't any individuals. Hello, Victoria. Let's see. John Lucas. Hi, GP. Equal weight landed. I seem to more often as not move to the triad of thought, emotions, and sensations, not the other side. And equal weight to the context, to space, to here-ness. Peace. That peace, there's a period, then there's another, no, there's a period. Peace. Are you saying like, peace out, man, to me? Or is the place of peace? Okay, so here's what you do now. You're seeing it all with equanimity. It's kind of landed, right? It's kind of like equal weight. It's just none is predominant, right? Okay, now what is seeing just this equanimity, this flow of equality, this balance that's happening? What is seeing that? How is it that you recognize that this has happened? That there is the context, there's the space, there's the here-ness, there's the peace. What is seeing all of that? Because all of that, in its natural state, fluid, balance, no conflicts between them, right? It's just this incredibly beautiful scene, right? It's still perceived. They're forms, subtle, very subtle forms. So what is seeing those? Put the attention there. I mean, where you are is a place of little to no suffering. Because with everything equal like that, there's no real place for an identity to pick favorites and create conflict. Which is great. It's heavenly, actually. So, what is seeing that? What is the source of this equality and harmony? That's the word I've been trying to find. Harmony between it all. Even though there's distinctions, there's uniqueness, there's forms, there's individual characters and the like. They're all flowing in harmony, in congruence. Where is the source of that harmony? What is it that is aware of all of it? And can that be something that can be any kind of object to awareness? There's the next step for your inquiry. So what am I? That is the constant, unchanging witness of all of that. Even aware of the question, what am I? Who am I? What is seen? Even those are perceived, but they're pointing to something. Something gave rise to them. Something is actually here. Something really is. What's that? Victoria, I grew up believing that there was something else besides the body-mind, the soul. But now you got me thinking in the theory of it's just the mind hallucinating. My scientific part can also see that side and question it. But it is easier and more comforting to choose to believe that there's something else. Yes, there is something, right? So, okay, it's hallucinating, right? Well, there's got to be something has to be there to hallucinate. Hallucination can't hallucinate. It's not a sentient entity. An illusion can't have an illusion, right? So we are looking for something. I don't want to take anybody's soul away. There is definitely a very real and a very significant sense of individuality, right? Now that, in and of itself, isn't a problem. There's a sense of individuality. And look around, there's individuality everywhere, individual forms, right? But here's the thing. Is the individual form a separately functioning, independent agent? Is it a self-existent being? That's the exploration. Right? Is it something that exists on its own? Now, if we look throughout nature, the natural world and the man-made world, nothing exists on its own. Everything is related to everything else. So where is that point, right, that everything must ultimately relate to? Because it can't be just an infinite relations between... If it's relative, it's got to be relative to something. Somewhere in that mix is something that is not relative to anything. Right? So the individuality, that sense of being an individual being is fine. Right? Of course, I'm going to experience as an individual. That's the fact. That's how you experience anything at all. But is the individual, those characteristics, their own source? Or is there something deeper, something unchanging, something that actually is, of which every individual soul, if you will, is actually a manifestation of something which is not relative to anything. It is self-existent, self-sustained. And so it, of necessity, can't be a thing, because everything is relative to at least space, right? So the male and the female is relative. Take one away, and what's the definition of either? All of it, everything we look at is relative to something else. Light, dark, tall, short, male, female, old, young. There's no old without young. Everything comes in pairs. Everything is just these opposites, right? Everything is described in terms of opposites. Well, what doesn't have an opposite? That's what we're looking for here. That's what we're interested in. And notice, there's no discounting of the value of your individuality. My own teacher would talk about a soul's journey. There's a sense of a soul on a journey, isn't there? Going through multiple lifetimes and growing. Yes. And for many, there's a sense of being that soul. And we experience as an entity, as a soul. Right? But eventually, as the soul develops, it comes in contact with a deeper self-image, something beyond the soul, that you could even say that it's what the soul has been, the journey has been too. Because if there's a soul's journey, where's it going? And who started it? Right? Where is it going? Well, it's going to inevitably have to go back to its source, isn't it? It's going to have to go back to where it came from. It's going to have to find its own roots, its own essence, because just look at it, you can see it is on a journey towards completeness, which means there must be some state that we can recognize that is that wholeness. And that wholeness had to have been what the soul emerged from in the first place. That which is had to have been there right from the get-go. It's so strange being inside the headphones. And I have these, right? Rather than just having a mic just to help me not hear the stuff going on. So I do apologize for this. But I don't have a real place to be yet. I have to just kind of take it as it comes. But Victoria, is that of any help to you? See, nothing gets lost in this. In fact, everything is found because it's reconnected to its source. You see, it's not just this independent thing wandering around trying to find its way. It has a direct relationship with that which is not a thing. Everything relative has a direct relationship to that which is absolute. And there must be an absolute somewhere. Because you can't just have this an infinite recursion or just infinite relativity. It can't happen. Because everything depended on something else, there must be a starting point. And that starting point is its origin and its destiny. Yeah. So let's see. How is that for you, Victoria? Am I getting anywhere? I see your point, the source. I guess I'm still a little bit stuck on the soul. It's okay. It's okay. It's not like, gotta get rid of it, because the sense of that will be there, even when the recognition that I am one with the source of that. The experience is valid, but it's only an experience being had by the source of the experience, which, when you look carefully, you find is yourself. You're the one having the experience. I'm the one seeing it. So, what's seeing it? Well, it's me, but not the me I had known. It doesn't negate that me. It just means that me that I thought was all there was to me is only a facet of me, only an aspect. Wow. I'm still blown. I just continue to get blown away by it. It's just staggeringly beautiful and perfect. Absolutely perfect. John says, thank you, I'll report back. Good. I expect your report in the morning, number one. Yes. I always thought this is on its own. It's just that I'm trying to find an answer to the theory that there's nothing else, just the mind thinking. Well, what's aware of the mind thinking? So there's obviously something else, right? If you look at thinking, is there a mind without the thinking? I mean, all it is this flow of thoughts forever changing. So that's all there is to it. What's aware of the thinking? What's seeing the thinking? You see, there's something deeper than the mind. There's nothing wrong with minds, right? Unless you let them run the show, in which case, because the mind is nothing but relative, isn't it? I mean, that's all it does is describe one thing in terms of another, compare and contrast, and all of those kinds of things, right? That's all it does. There's nothing that isn't relative to it in it, right? There's no absolutes in the mind. It can't grasp absolute. Hence the endless quest for what is, what's the absolute point that everything ultimately arises out of, including mind. So, the mind having a hallucination, what's aware of both the mind and the hallucination that knows it's a hallucination? Something is, isn't it? And for some strange reason, you're the one recognizing that something is. What's that say about you? Robbie, I recently got confused and scared of some people that were quite spiritual, then converted to Christianity, saying that Eastern practices, including simple meditation, is heresy in their new views. Well, yeah. Let's see. Where did you? Was there more you added to that? Yeah. Yes, and notice, just really notice that that's what they're trying to do. Now, here's the deal. If God needs to scare the shit out of me in order to get me to be devoted to Him, if I have to be coerced with threats, who the hell is this guy? You can't love and fear the same thing. Yet that's is what it's become. So it's coercion. It's the ego. It is not God. God doesn't need to scare me, right? Threaten me to be devoted to Him. That's slavery. That's an abusive boyfriend or husband. It's psychotic. It's psychopathic. I love God because God is lovable. Duh. To see the real nature of God, you can't help but love Him. Because the real nature of God is love itself. Love itself. God is love. Not somebody who loves, but love itself. It's every act of love you see, every act of love you participate in is the very presence and action of God. It is pervasive these days. Christianity has abandoned the actual teachings of Christ and has become enamored with power. And power, that kind of power, is always enforced through fear. I am not afraid of God. I am not afraid to use the very faculties that were embodied in human beings, namely exploration, doubt, pondering, exploring. Okay, if God is what you say He is, then show me this. Oh, you got to believe. Well, no, I don't. No, I don't. People can believe all sorts of silly things, and so many different religions and points of view that completely disagree with Christianity are held with the same level of conviction, aren't they? Anything that needs to coerce you through fear is the ego. It's the devil. It is the exact opposite. It's the Antichrist. It's exactly the opposite. And threaten you with eternal suffering. Given one little chance, a few years, to repent, or else. Love me, or else. There's a wonderful story I heard of a missionary witnessing Christ to a Native American. And tells him the whole story about and how to be saved and all that. And the Native American says, well, okay, so what happens to someone when they die who's never heard this? Who's never heard this from you? And he says, well, they get to go to heaven because they're innocent. They didn't turn this down. He says, okay, so if I get this straight, I've got to I've got to accept this, believe it, give myself to this, and then I'll go into heaven. Otherwise, I'm going to go to hell. But if I'd never heard it, I would get a free pass. I'd be in heaven. Because yeah, that's right. He says, well, then why did you tell me? Well, the answer is because what they really wanted was power over them. That's what it's about. Christianity, well, the very vocal Christianity, there's plenty of people who don't go along with that stuff. But it is just, it is just the height of egoic self-deception. Yeah. And it is just lust for power, taking the very best teachings and adulterating them, abusing them. Yeah. It is spiritual wickedness in high places. It's the sin against the Holy Spirit, taking away somebody's the right to explore for themselves and choose God as the destination, not be terrified of any alternative. It is it is the deception of the very elite, all prophesied in their book. So Robbie, this is good, actually. Suddenly there's this fear here, right? What you do with that fear, you look at it. You look at it straight in the eye. What am I afraid of? A threat here. That there is some super being out there who, without showing himself, directly, all through innuendo and books and the like, but somehow I'm supposed to accept what all of these people say about him, even though I've never seen him myself. Okay, tell you what. Show me this, I will believe. Period. Show me your power. Show me your presence. Show me condition. Even show me why that something merits this eternal damnation and not your loving correction. Show me, please. I just want to know what's true. That's all. Is that too much to ask? But I don't want to spend eternity with someone I'm afraid of. Talk about a bad marriage. Whoa. Megan, I love you, Chi. Background is just fine. Happy you're here. Yeah. I'm happy I'm here too. Kuwak. I'd rather be nothing than something some days. Good, because you are nothing in particular. It's funny you would say that because, most people say, man, you're just nothing, man. What? The ego would get very offended by it. Right? But kind of go, man, I'm nothing in particular. That means I'm not bounded by any particular set of rules, and I get to choose. I'm a free agent. I'm not bounded by a particular identity, which means not being stuck in an identity. What is it that takes on the identity? Is that an identity, or is that just this formless essence that doesn't have any boundaries, doesn't have any limits? So yeah, take on this form, be this form, right? Speak as this form, use this form. Yeah. It's pretty good. It's got pretty good intellectual equipment. Nice vocabulary. It's a nice, pleasant sounding voice. Yeah, I'll use this for a while. See what happens. Find some comfy chairs for it, because it's getting old and can't jump around like you used to. Okay, fine. Yeah, this works. Be nothing. Ask people. Somebody asks you, "Who are you?" You go, well, nothing in particular, but right this moment, I'm like, "Hi, how you doing?" They call me GP. What else do you need? This is the wonder of being nothing. It's the wonder of not knowing. It's the beauty of it. It's the mystery, and also just the utter awe of it. How is it that this strange little meat suit can give expression to such huge things? How can this little thing here, just a speck in the universe, be filled with so much love and appreciation and wonder? I don't know how. I just know it is. How? It's not a process. It's not something that happened that you can say, how? How does this happen? And outline it. It's just how. It's just, this is the reality. This is the self. There is the self that we call the unknown, and the self that is knowing itself as form. Form isn't the problem, it's identification. Identifying yourself as the form rather than as the infinite awareness from which all forms have arisen. Okay. The form and the formless are one. Emptiness and form and emptiness. They're one, not two. Oneness is what our minds can't grasp, because in oneness, everything is relative to itself. Are you relative to you? Are you objective to you? Are you an object to yourself? No, you are the subject and the object. The knower and the knowing and the known. All one. And beyond. It's just ponder it. You'll find the truth in it. Not as intellect, but as a direct seeing. The dots will connect themselves. It's like, wow. I think I covered it all now, Victoria, as I looked down here. Sorry, I'm speaking of... I missed one in between that I then went back and caught. Suze! Sorry I'm late. Yeah, we were pretty offended. We were all going, where is she? Where is she? Can't start till she's here. So we're starting now, so don't worry. Victoria, with the show me, you reminded me of Thomas, the disciple, the theory we should believe without seeing. Yeah, it was not a bad deal, but Thomas got it, right? Because after he said, my Lord and my God, he wasn't saying that Jesus, the person, was God. He was saying he is seeing God in his Lord. The relationship between the manifest and the unmanifest. The Father and Son, or the Buddha and the Sangha, they're all referring to this essential relationship. Jesus said to Philip said, show us the Father. Right? Just like I did, show me the Father. And that will suffice. that will satisfy me. And Jesus said, Philip, how long have you been with me? If you've seen me, if you've really seen me, you have seen the Father. He's pointing to the oneness of it, the divine image, the unseeable, unknowable, manifested in form. And the character of the form reveals the nature that is God. The love of Christ revealed God as love. And it was in the Gospel of Thomas, one of my favorite quotes is where Jesus says, "He who drinketh of my mouth shall become as I am, and I shall be he." Thomas, as a doubter, was not, he should just believe. No, he shouldn't. He did the right thing. he kept looking till he saw it. He saw the inseparable nature of the God as unmanifest, and all form, everything as manifest. In other words, God is all. The one is all. The one is the many. Like music in the song. Music exists. It is the unmanifest song, but song is not separate from it. How can it be? The showing doesn't need to be physical. It can't be, because the essence that we call God is not physical. Of course, neither are you, actually. What is the substance of consciousness? Right? Everyone says, it's they want to turn it into something. They want something. It's this is the source of consciousness. So search through the brain and all these little places and say, this is where consciousness is. Right? Whoa. Oh no, it's not in the eye, it's not in the optic nerve, it's not. Where is it? Where is it? This place that cognition actually takes place. The place that, right now, where you're hearing my words, seeing the image, right? What in the world is that? What if it's not some little thing in the brain? What if it's not made of anything? What if it is the substance that makes everything else? You won't be able to see it. But since it is the source of everything, it is seen in everything. Like looking in the mirror. Right? When you look in a mirror, you see you. But you don't see you, right? It's you, but it's not you. It's just an aspect of you. How do you see you? Well, you can't through the eyes. No one could see God and live. Of course not. Because they won't exist anymore. You see God, you become God. You become one. Become as I am, and I shall be He, as Christ put it. Right? Can you begin to taste this? That our minds are looking for the object God, or the object self, the thing that has definition and contour and stands out from everything else. Right? The super being. And this is what most religions are based on. They have a concept of some person who's got all sorts of power, but then they project onto that person this nasty disposition who can make just the unboundedness of the universe, but is very upset that a boy might kiss a boy, or that you're growing cropped different crops next to each other, and wearing clothes that are woven from more than one kind of thread. What? This is the Supreme Being? Please. Please. And it's okay for you guys to go over there and just completely wipe out this whole group of people. Yes. Yeah. They didn't have the word genocide back then. Just wipe them out. But you know what? While you're at it, not just the men you're going to fight, but the women, the children, the livestock, the plants, all of it. Just torch it. They're bad. They're bad. That's why. It's okay. It's like, what? Wait? This is the same guy who makes quasars and galaxies and puppy dogs and almond milk lattes. Same guy? Come on. The character's so... Jesus showed who God actually was. Permeates, the God that permeates everything. That is the man that is the potential for everything. That cannot possibly be limited. The potential is inexhaustible. There is no end to what can be experienced, what can come into its temporary existence. But its existence is a reflection. It is not self-existence. It owes its existence to that which actually does exist as a self-sustained reality. That is where this came from, and where this returns, and where this still lives. God, as the ultimate, is your very nature. Everything you know of as you is actually the attributes of that which is beyond he, she, and it, or we and them, or it's beyond even the thought I. Because if you're all, I means nothing. And yet, I, isn't that what's expressed in everything? Everyone here says I am, I, right? Same I. The one I reflected in a gazillion places. A long time ago, when holograms had just been invented, and they were physical, of course. I think it was like the late 60s, 70s, right? And I saw it. It was like maybe 3 feet wide, 18 inches high, and it was, like this thick glass, right? That had this holographic picture, and it was stunning. And it was a ship. And as they turned it, you'd be looking at the ship. It was like the ship was actually turning around. Then the guy took it, and he threw it on the ground and broke it. And then started picking up pieces and showing us. And picks up a piece. You expect to see, like a picture, a part of the ship, right? But in fact, you pick up a piece of glass, and you'd look, and it was the whole ship from a particular angle. Every little piece had in it the entire ship. Every individual you have in you. Look at you and you see the whole nature of all things manifest in you. And in this one form, the invisible becomes visible. So you can say that you are both the invisible and the visible, or that you're neither the visible or the invisible. You're both, you're neither, you're beyond anything we can conceive of. And yet it's what you are. Let's see. Robbie, thank you, G, for the kind words. I sometimes get triggered where past fears and societal upbringing get surfaced and get stuck emotionally, where I feel scared of even meditating until calm down. You know what you could do? You just play the same game and say, Lord, if this is true, show me. Make it a prayer. I'm meditating now because I want to know what's true. And if wanting to know what's true about you is a sin, okay, then what is virtue? Just dive into it. Dive into it. Let God reveal herself, himself, itself to you. And then look at the actual teachings of Christ, what he was saying. Not how they have been twisted by ego, the sense of self, the false sense of self, to serve the interests of this imaginary person we think we are. And that's all it is. That's the great illusion. Yeah. Yeah, and it's sinister. It's horrible. I mean, what more horrible thing could you say to somebody that either believed this or you are going to be punished mercilessly beyond what you can possibly imagine forever, and then teach that to children? What kind of darkness has to be on somebody's mind, ignorance, to accept such a thing, and to teach it to kids early, to fear that which should be their greatest comfort. This is where you see me put on my warrior hat, because this is a crime against humanity. It was developed to control, and that's still what it's being used for. I'm not afraid to ask God what the truth is. Truth holds all the cards. Right? So I have no problem surrendering completely to the truth. But it's got to be the truth that I'm shown directly, not one that somebody tries to convince me is the truth and threatens me if I don't believe it, because then I'm suspect. If you have to threaten me, what kind of a truth is this? That I can't even question it? Yeah, it sounds a bit weak to me. Yeah, it sounds a bit wimpy. That ain't much of a truth if it really requires that kind of intimidation to hold itself in place. That sounds a whole lot more like politics. and tyrants, Yeah, that's more Putin-like than Christ-like. Yeah. Can we talk about Gaza? Oh, well, yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, it's repeating itself, justified for exactly the same thing, isn't it? For a minute there, I thought you were talking. We talk about Gozo, right? Which is right by Malta, where you used to live, right? Oh no, Gaza, right? Gaza. Yeah, it's the same thing. It is the same thing. Justifying itself, greed, using the cloak of religious authority to justify its just unspeakable evil, just unspeakable inhumanity. For what? For greed, for that kind of gain. But we must go beyond merely the condemnation of those who are doing it to see to the root of what is causing it, which is just our devoted attachment to the ego, to the sense of self that remains unscrutinized and therefore continues to be active. Which is what we're doing. We have to go beyond, condemn it, of course. But if you condemn it from a place of moral superiority, you're swallowing a different line. And we can get lost in a sense of moral superiority. Well, we're not morally superior. How do we find what Christ found? Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. Because that's the fact. It is ignorance. It is our ignorance that commits the heinous monstrosities. It is the ego just unconstrained. Conquer the ego in you. As Christ said, first cast the log out of your eye. Then you'll see clearly to take the sliver out of your neighbor's eye. It has to start as our own devotion to truth. It has to start there. Then it will expand outward. You'll see the actual cause of it all. And you'll lose your fear, you'll lose your anger, you'll lose your any kind of arrogance or condescension, because you'll see things as they are, and you recognize the only solution is love. Wise love. The love that is redolent with wisdom, that understands and therefore can lead. Amazing. Yeah. Bobby Ward, been going through heavy ego dissolving the last few months, had experiences of going crazy, insane. Let's see here. What? They do know what no, they don't. No, they don't, Suze. Oh my God. You think they do. They know that they are setting out to basically wipe out these people and take their land, all of its resources. Yes. But do they know what's motivating? Do they know just the evil that they're doing? Do they know that what they're going to gain is absolutely worthless? Not that the land is worthless, but attempting to satisfy the greed and the lust in us with more and more and more is just the suffering that is not yet recognized as suffering. So don't take a position of moral superiority. They don't know what they're doing. Christ said that about the very people who were killing him. He knew what he was talking about. So set that aside. Take what I say and ask yourself, how is it that they don't know what they're doing? Put what I say to the test. Don't accept it. Don't reject it. Put it to the test. How is it that they don't know what they're doing? That they deserve to be condemned? Because if that's the case, then you, me, everyone would be accused of exactly the same thing. Oh yeah, you do know what you're doing. And therefore, you can be condemned. That's what our legal system does now. It doesn't recognize the fact, the impulses, conditioning, all the things, the places where we are not making any decision, but they say, nope, you know what you're doing, you did it, therefore you need to be condemned, which means put away somewhere. No hope of any kind of redemption, of coming to see, of coming to true, honest accountability. Ponder it. Ponder my words. And show me where I'm wrong. Happy to see. Or see for yourself what's right, what's correct. And then you will find in you an even larger sense of forgiveness. Recognize that all the evil done in the world is done through the ignorance of not knowing who you really are and serving this insatiable energy that is the egoic mind. Insatiable. Cannot be satisfied, cannot be fulfilled. So, Bobby, okay. What's happening is the ego dissolving. Remember, the ego isn't a thing. It's a set of concepts and ideas that you, who are not the ego, have given life to. You have taken it on as if it's you, and that is what is activating it. That's what's animating your belief in it. Right? So the ego dissolving will just be like an experience being had that'll be very unpleasant, but not really get traction. Like it happens, ego deaths, people talk about in plant ceremonies and things like that. There's an experience there, but it is not the actual dissolution. The dissolution, the real dissolving of the ego, is to see that it isn't real. It is a set of thoughts, and the only reality it ever had in your experience is you believed in it. You thought, I am this. Right? It is disidentification, where the ego is seen as non-existent, just thoughts. But when I, consciousness, believe them, I believe them into an actual experience of it. And that is the nature of suffering. It's the nature of evil. That's where all the evil comes from. So you're going sane, actually, but take that to heart, because the ego isn't a thing that dissolves. There's no thing there. Its dissolution is the recognition it never really was. I am. And that sense of I am used to be I am this, not even realizing it. And the real dissolution is when the sense I am is removed, comes out of identification with this form that creates the sense of ego, and returns back to its source as just pure I am. And you're not the you that thinks it's doing it or is dissolving the ego, is part of the ego that's being dissolved. The I am that is bringing the sense I out of identification back to itself, that is grace. By grace we are saved, and that not of ourselves, lest any man should boast. St. Paul nailed that one. It is, you're being called back home. The sense I is being called back home. And yes, it can feel, because identity being so integrated into everything, right? The whole nervous system is functioning as if this thing is actually you. And so yes, it's going to be a little bit wobbly and unsteady and feel like, because even the mind has based itself around this, organized itself around it, and you're just plucking the center out of it. Right? So it's going to feel quite, don't worry, if you're doing it correctly, recognizing that it is a identification, and it's only our own beliefs in it that have sustained it, you will very naturally and quickly come to a place of stability that all of this will reorganize itself around. And then the journey inward will continue until there's nothing left to reorganize. There's nothing left of a sense of a separate self. Yeah. Quack asks, does the ego even exist if there's no one? No, it doesn't. It's just a bunch of thoughts activated by your belief in them. Suze, stop putting your attention on them, trying to define what they are, that they're insane. You're right, they don't know love. Yes, that's it. That's all of our insanity. That's all of our insanity. Is that we are motivated by trying to protect the ego which doesn't even exist. We're protecting an imaginary story. The story of my imaginary story of me is intertwined with everybody else's imaginary story of them, and that creates cultures and myths and all the things that people believe, and then we believe it, so we're this, and they don't believe it, so they're bad, and on and on and on it goes, and it is all imaginary. The only solution is the devout search for truth. What is the truth? And I found the truth to be love itself. And that's the only solution. So we heal the world by healing ourselves, because we are one with the world. The world is nothing more than the sum total of all of our stories. It is the sum total of all of our beliefs in the ego. You heal the world by coming to the same place that Buddha came to, that Christ came to, that Ramana came to. Then you are love itself. As Christ said, if you've seen me, you have seen the Father. If you've seen me, you've seen love. Love embodied. And that love is fearless. That love forgives. So, the ego, there is no one, right? Believing that I am this particular form, this particular person with these particular characteristics, that is the ego. That's it. And it's a belief that has limited itself to a certain set of characteristics. I am this person. I was born here, I did this. This is who I am, right? The belief in that shapes our experience, so we experience it as if it was actually who we are, who was true. What is true, right? And because it is like this small, narrow thing, it now is I'm this and they're that, right? And these are like me. These are not out of that gross greed, selfishness, justification of cruelty. All of it coming from I am this. Right? The only way to dissolve all this is to dissolve that. I am. You are not that. You've just believed yourself to be that and literally believed it into existence. So to say there's no one, that could be a non-dual thing that could be very, very misunderstood and actually cause a lot of problems. You're no one in particular. You are that from which all forms can arise and shift and change. And if I'm not confined to here, I have access to all the resources. So there is no one as an entity. There's just innumerable someones as experience. So when there's no more identification with the form, with a person, with an ego, in other words, the ego's not there, there is still the experience of individuality and form. All of this is still here. None of this is the problem. All of this is the self. It is just this tiny little idea that I am this. Right? That, boom, creates the sense of other, fear, doubt, worry, a world. Thumb can block the sun. Huge sun, big ass sun. Your thumb can block it. That's what it's like. It's a speck. It's a tiny, tiny speck. It's so close, called I am this. So close that it blocks everything out. Take that out of your eye and you will see. You will see. You will see through the eyes of God. You will be one with the source. In fact, the you that is ego will simply disappear into the source of all there is the source. God is one. God is all. Yes. We are one. I am one with those who are suffering under the heel of the boot. I'm one with the one wearing the boot. I take it all into this heart. All of it. Every aspect of it. To set it free here. Once I've done that, you leave the rest to God. You see that this is God's story unfolding. And I leave it to that, and I just my favorite prayer, Lord, purge me of ego, replace me with you. Seems to be a good place to let it go for today. What do you think, guys? Thank you. I feel like there's something else to say. I am very grateful for every single one who is willing to listen to this, to ponder it, to take it to heart, to give it a respectful exploration. That's all I can ask. I actually do believe in the free moral agency, that you are the authority in your life, and you are the one who gets to decide what truth is and what truth isn't. And to the degree that we're dedicated to that we're intellectually honest, and our hearts are open to the end of suffering, ourselves and others, that's the ripe territory that you will look for yourself. You will confirm or denounce everything I'm saying, but you'll be exercising the most important thing of all, your inner freedom. And then you will come to love as yourself, not as an act, not as a mode of behavior, a moral imperative, but just, it's you. You can't be anything else. Then you and the Father, the Mother are one, just as Christ said, I and my Father are one. You will utter those words. All right, my loves. Until next time, love you all.